Well, I had already done Nutcracker by this point, Tchaikovsky's Nutcracker in '92. That was the first sort of full-length piece I'd done really to any kind of score that was a complete score. I loved it so much. I loved the fact that Tchaikovsky's music was written to tell a story. You can feel the story in the music. As always with Tchaikovsky, it's much more profound than most music written for dance at that time. It goes much deeper. So it's very inspiring music to work with. Taking it on board as an idea is always scary. Taking on something people love, taking on something that is revered in the art form already in a certain way. I feel it has to come from love. I always remember the quote from Stravinsky actually when he was asked, somebody said to him, "Oh, there's lots of little bits of Mozart in your music. Why is that?" And he said, "Well, I love it, and I feel because I love it, I have permission to use it." And I always remember that because I feel I do that in some ways with Tchaikovsky and the classical ballet. I mean, we have elements of the classical ballet in our version. Some of our groupings and the shapes the swans make comes from that. The choreography is different, but the groupings and shapes are there. And again, it comes out of love. If I was sitting here saying, "Oh, I'm so bored with the classic, it's just had its day, this is how it should be done," I've never felt that. I've always felt the two coexist. And I think Tchaikovsky is big enough to be reinterpreted, as is Shakespeare and other great artists. You know, it's there to be rethought every so often and given a new lease of life. And that's exactly what I tried to do with the music, to release it in a different way. An expressive way that was maybe new. The sideline to that, though, I would say, is many people who come to our shows are not as familiar with these scores as a ballet audience might be. It's quite fresh music to a lot of people, quite a new introduction to the kind of music that they thought they may not like. And they're finding themselves loving it, you know, and that's a wonderful thing as well, that this piece has introduced this music to a whole new audience as well. The other thing about the way we use the music is our tempi is much more authentic to how it was written. Over the years, the classical version has got slower and slower to accommodate improvements in technique, extensions, more turns, higher jumps, whatever. The music has got very slow. So when I made the piece, we had a great conductor called David Lloyd-Jones, who's a great Tchaikovsky expert working with us. And he gave us what he felt were the tempi as was written. So we could choreograph it to those tempi. And that's made our piece, in one sense, much more authentic to what Tchaikovsky wanted. So I think quite proud of that.